Hey everybody. I just wanted to run through how to take ecological field notes on our server. You want to use Google Drive. There's two ways of doing that. So if it's on a phone or an iPad, you have to download the app and then sign in with your Parterre email address. Everybody should have the Ecological Drive or the server that we have online shared with them. So I just want to run through how to do that on the computer here, and then I'll talk a little bit about how to do that on the phone. So if you go into the top right here where your little name is, there's a Google Apps portion right there. So you can go to Drive, make sure that you are signed into Parterre. So under Parterre, we have Ecological Services folder. It should pop up on your screen. If it's not, you can search Ecological Services. And in here, we have clients. And then you can find the client that you're hoping to send a message to. So if I was going to send one to McCarthy, I have a McCarthy folder here, and in this I have already placed a template for ecological field notes. So you double click on that, and within it you have all the information that you might want. So you want to give the client name, where the location is, and potentially we like to put in the email address as well. Then you put the date of your work completed, who was there with you, and then a short description of the work that was completed on site, anything that went counter to plan or any of that can go in there as well. The next section is observations. So if you saw any particular interesting wildlife, or if you saw, maybe you saw some damage to plants, or if you saw some things are going really, really well. If you're in a meadow situation, you've got a whole bunch of things coming up. It's a good area to let the client know. And then, a lot of our sites we do maintenance over time. So broadly, you can kind of estimate what will be done in future visits. So we might have done invasive cutting in the springtime. Say it was April, we just cut everything to 8 inches. Well, we know we're going to have to come back when the time is right. So it might be a late July or an August stem treatment. Or we need to come back and mow a meadow once a month after the first seeding or something. And then you can add your photos in, and we can put captions underneath these. So let's run through. First, let's look at a completed one. So I'm going to go back to the drive. I'm going to say a recent one redid was flagpole. And within that, we have ecological field notes here. So this one, re-put the address, the client, the date, who was there, and then a note on what was done. So we completed some weeding, we've done some of the debris was removed, cat fires pulled out. Observations, reassess that things are looking really good. There's a lot of plants that are coming in with fruit, and the plants that we planted there are really taking off. So it's great to include before and afters in your notes. We did a really good job here. It was pretty weedy in the beds, and we eliminated a lot of those weeds. Did another before and after here. Another before and after. And another before and after. So it doesn't necessarily need to be this many before and afters. We don't have to do that much. Here's a good images of just the anemone taking off, some of the seeds germinating on the geranium, and a little TRL and flower. So This is a lot of pictures. This is great. The client loved seeing this. I would say you could do a little bit less if you need to. So that is a general field note. I'm going to be in any of the roadmaps. I'll be sending you the client's email addresses. If they're not already a folder, you can just go back to Ecological Services, Clients. If you say you got a new client that you need to type in, perhaps the burial ground is in here, Bennington Cemetery. Well, we already got that folder. If you needed to create a new folder, you would just right click, new folder, and then everything is done in Google Docs. So what I like to do when doing the notes is to take an example one. So let's go back to flagpole for Rees. So I really like the way they have their thing set up here. So I'm just going to, go back. I'm going to make a copy. It's going to create a copy of it, and then it's going to be labeled as copy, and then I can right click and move to the folder that I want to go in. So we'll go back to clients, and I can put this in Cambridge Boat Club, and then when I open it up and it's been moved over there, I just change the client information. And it's a good base. It allows me to kind of remember, like, oh, what kind of things should I be adding? Doesn't necessarily have to be done that way. You can also search, if you want to just go straight to an existing McCarthy folder. Let's see if I can spell this right. McCarthy, I could go right into their field notes. Typically we're trying to do a half hour to an hour on these notes. It's a great learning tool for us, and it's also just like the clients, just really professional, trying to get these notes out 48 hours or 48 to 72 hours after we complete the project. Client isn't going to follow up with questions like, were you actually here, when they get an invoice. They're going to know what happened, and they'll oftentimes respond to you, and all that time that they respond to you is billable. Just put it in as admin time, or if you say like, hey, it took me 15 minutes to respond to this, just text that over to me so that I can make sure that you're getting that incorporated into your time. Let's see. When you're doing this on the phone, it will show up as an app. You have to download the Google Drive app, and then you have to sign in with your Parterre email, and it should already be shared to your email. So it's the same kind of thing. You may also need to download like Google's Docs on your phone, because for whatever reason the apps are not combined. And when you're doing it on the phone, I find it easy to just write up my whole text, and then I'll go back and add images on a computer or an iPad or whatever on the screen, and before I send. So the text, I feel like I can get out of the way most of the time on site, and then adding the images in to get the formatting right I generally do that at home. And then once you have completed your notes, I like to just copy it, open the email, paste it right into the email, and then send it off to the client. And this format has been really good for us. You guys have been doing an amazing job on notes. So that is a quick tutorial, 10-minute tutorial on doing field notes. Let me know if you have any questions.